We need to keep our men and our women reproductively healthy. This is hella important. Welcome back to Staying Fertile AF. This channel is all about keeping our fertility game strong. In my last video, we talked about the basics of fertility, what it is, why it matters, and how to identify signs of being fertile. If you missed that, make sure to check out my How to Know If You're Fertile video, because you'll want to know the basics. And in this video, we're taking it a step further. Today, we're diving into hormones, specifically the ones that play the biggest role in our reproductive health. These are estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, luteinizing hormone or LH, follicle-stimulating hormone FSH, Anti-Müllerian Hormone AMH, and Prolactin. I know, this might sound like a lot, but getting an understanding of these is the first step to taking control of your fertility. Whether you're planning on having kids soon or if you just want to keep your options open, understanding these hormones will give you the power to take control of your fertility and your overall health. What are hormones and why should you care? Hormones are like these chemical messengers which are produced by your glands, for example, like your ovaries or your testes and your thyroid. They travel through your bloodstream, telling your cells and organs what to do. Hormones are in charge of regulating everything from your mood, metabolism, sleep, and most importantly for us, regulating your fertility. For us women, hormones control things like our menstrual cycle, ovulation, and our overall reproductive health. For men, they're key for sperm production and libido. So yeah, whether you're male or you're female, hormones are pretty essential when it comes to fertility. Let's start with estrogen. She's the main character hormone when it comes to fertility in women. Estrogen is produced by our ovaries, and it's the one calling the shots, i.e. regulating your menstrual cycle, building up the uterine lining, and getting your body prepared for pregnancy. Why estrogen matters. Estrogen helps thicken your uterine lining each month, getting it ready for possible pregnancy. And when pregnancy doesn't happen, this is actually what sheds during your period, so the blood that comes out. Estrogen also plays a key role in helping your eggs mature in the ovaries, making sure that they're fully ready for ovulation. And here's something powerful for you to remember. You actually have control over the quality of those eggs. The healthier your lifestyle, the better environment you're creating for your eggs to develop in like an optimal condition. So if kids are a part of your future plan, nurturing your body now can help set you up for future success. Estrogen also changes your cervical mucus, making it easier for the sperm to reach the egg. Have you ever noticed a change in your cervical mucus? That's actually your body dropping hints about where you're at in your cycle and what your fertility window is. When estrogen peaks, your cervical mucus changes to make it easier for the sperm to reach the egg. It's a subtle but powerful indicator of your most fertile days. Let me show you this graph to help visualize how estrogen works throughout your cycle. The blue line here is estrogen. It rises steadily in the follicular phase and it peaks just before ovulation, usually around days 12 to 14. This peak is key as it helps trigger the release of an egg and make sure your uterine lining is healthy and ready. After ovulation, estrogen dips a bit and then stays level through the luteal phase. Now keep in mind that everyone's cycle is a bit different. Not only do we have different cycle lengths, but our cycles can vary month to month, meaning these phases can happen on different days for each of us and even each month. My cycle can range anywhere between 26 and 42 days. 1 month it's 28 days, then it's 29 days, and then 27, and then 30, and so on. I've been roughly tracking it with the Apple Health app, but I'm so curious to see what optimal tracking will do for me and my understanding of my body. Can't wait to share those insights in a later video. For now, just remember that keeping estrogen levels balanced is key for a healthy cycle and fertility. When estrogen is too high or too low, it can really throw off your period, or even make it harder to get pregnant. Healthline suggests a few natural ways to keeping hormones balanced, like managing stress, getting enough sleep, staying active, eating a balanced diet, and adding healthy fats like omega-3 from fish or flax seeds. I'll probably want to challenge these suggestions in my own journey and see what's truly optimal for my fertility. What about the men? Men also produce estrogen, though at much lower levels than women. In men, estrogen helps regulate functions like libido, sperm development, and bone health. Too much estrogen in men can cause issues like low libido or infertility. Now let's move on to progesterone. She's kind of like estrogen's sidekick. After ovulation, your ovaries start pumping out progesterone to keep the uterine lining in place and to support pregnancy. Why progesterone matters? Progesterone helps keep the uterine lining stable, getting it ready for pregnancy if implantation happens. If you do conceive, progesterone levels will stay high to support the pregnancy. It also works hand in hand with estrogen. Remember, she's the sidekick. They help keep your menstrual cycle balanced. Take a look at the red line for progesterone. You'll notice it stays low during the first half of your cycle, but after ovulation, it spikes up. This spike is what helps your body get ready for possible pregnancy by supporting the uterine lining. If no pregnancy happens, progesterone levels drop back down, and and that's when your period starts. Keeping your progesterone levels balanced is super important for maintaining fertility and making sure your cycle stays on track. When levels are off, it can lead to irregular periods or make it difficult for your body to support a pregnancy. What about men? Progesterone isn't as deep in men's fertility, but it does help out in producing other important hormones like testosterone. So while it's not the star of the show for men, it's still doing some behind the scenes work for them. Luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. LH and FSH are two major player hormones in women's fertility. Both are produced by the pituitary gland. This is a tiny pea-shaped gland at the base of your brain. These two hormones work together to make sure your cycle is running smoothly and keeping everything on track. FSH is the hormone that helps your body grow sacs called follicles. Each follicle is like a tiny little bubble filled with fluid, and inside each one of these is an immature egg. Basically, FSH gets these follicles ready so the eggs can develop and mature, getting them ready for ovulation. And LH steps in to trigger ovulation, releasing the mature egg so it's ready to meet the sperm for fertilization. Now, check out the yellow and green lines on the graph. Those represent LH and FSH. FSH starts to rise during the early follicular phase. It's called the follicular phase for a reason, because it's a time when your follicles are growing and maturing. So FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, obviously plays a big role here, getting your follicles ready, growing them, maturing them. On this chart, around day 12 to 14, you'll see that LH spikes, triggering ovulation and releasing a mature egg ready for fertilization. These two hormones work together to make sure that ovulation happens as it should. In men, FSH helps to control sperm production, while LH stimulates production of testosterone in the testes. Both are very important for male fertility, making sure everything runs smoothly on the sperm and the testosterone front. Anti-Müllerian Hormone, AMH. The egg reserve indicator for women. AMH gives us a glimpse into our egg reserve. Basically, how many eggs we've got left. This is hella important. It helps predict how much time we have left when it comes to fertility. So it's a pretty helpful hormone to know about. AMH levels stay pretty steady throughout your cycle, which makes it a reliable way to measure your ovarian reserve, how many eggs you have left. It also helps predict how well your ovaries will react to fertility treatments and gives you a snapshot of your overall reproductive timeline. So this isn't a hormone you need to test regularly, but it's a really good one to be aware of, especially if you're planning to have kids later in life. Let's talk about testosterone, both genders. Testosterone is usually seen as the male hormone, but this is not just for the guys. It plays a key role in women's health too. For men, testosterone is mainly produced in the testes, while for women, it comes from the ovaries and the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands sit right on top of your kidneys and produce a small but really important amount of testosterone. Why testosterone matters? In women, testosterone helps to maintain libido or sex drive and plays a role in ovarian function, which impacts your overall health. For women, it's also important for muscle strength, bone density, and mood. Women naturally have lower levels of testosterone than men, but too much or too little can cause issues. For example, like too much testosterone in women can lead to issues like excess hair growth or irregular periods. In men, testosterone is the key hormone for sperm production, muscle mass, and sex drive. It's mostly produced in the testes, and it controls traits like deeper voices and muscle growth. If testosterone levels are too low in men, it can affect fertility by lowering sperm count or reducing libido. Whether you're male or female, keeping your testosterone levels balanced is super important for your overall health and fertility. Too much or too little can affect everything from your energy to your mood to your ability to conceive, and we don't want that. Prolactin, the quiet influencer for both genders. Most people know prolactin for its role in regulating milk production, but it actually plays a part in reproductive health for both men and women. Prolactin is produced by the pituitary gland, just like LH and FSH. These hormones all work together in regulating the key functions in fertility. For women, prolactin levels are usually higher during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but if it's too high outside of these times, it can disrupt ovulation and cause fertility issues. High prolactin levels prevent ovulation altogether, or makes your periods irregular, making it much harder to conceive. In men, prolactin plays a quieter role, but when levels are too high, it can lower testosterone. And we know that the drop in testosterone can impact sperm production, lower fertility, and reduce libido. We don't want that. We need to keep our men and our women reproductively healthy. So keeping prolactin levels in check is important, not just for making sure ovulation happens smoothly for women, but also for men, since it keeps testosterone levels steady and sperm production exactly how we want it. Alright, before we wrap up, here's the thing. I'm on this journey too. I'm committed to figuring out my own fertility better, and it starts with getting my hormones tested, so I can see where I'm at, what's my baseline. Today we just covered the basics, but in my next video, we're diving deeper. We'll go deep on what hormone level numbers should be, how to test hormones, and what these results actually mean for you. I'm tracking my cycle, managing my stress, tweaking my diet, and I'm here to share everything with you. What's been a good start for me is just by paying attention to my body. Even roughly tracking my cycle has given me so much insight. There's so many apps out there and other methods that can help you with this. Look for patterns and figure out what these mean. Whether you do this by talking to your healthcare provider, doing some research, or just having real conversations with other women, it all starts with understanding yourself and your body. I'm learning along the way, and hopefully you'll be able to apply this to your fertility journey too. If you found this video helpful, go hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment if there's a topic you want me to dive into next. Remember, understanding the basics of your hormones is the first step taking control of your fertility and staying fertile AF.